Your receipt isn't lying. Since 2020, grocery prices in the US and Europe are up roughly 20% to 30%, according to the BLS and Eurostat. Headlines say inflation is cooling. Your shopping cart says it isn't. Energy falls, rent does not. Freight costs ease, but your sandwich stays expensive. If the fire is smaller, why does the room still feel hot? Let's open the machine and see how it works. Chapter 1. Why you still feel poorer. Inflation isn't just a number. It's the erosion of what your money can buy. The official index tracks an average basket, but nobody lives the average. You live your basket, your rent, your commutes, your habits. If your basket rises faster than the headline, it feels like everything is more expensive. Inflation climbs in steps and rarely comes down. Even when the pace slows, the level stays high. Costs rise on different clocks. Gas moves weekly. Flights move seasonally. Rent resets annually. Healthcare rises quietly. Childcare never stops climbing. Your budget becomes a staggered series of hits. And memory magnifies the pain. You remember the old price. Your brain never resets the baseline. And there's one more reason inflation feels heavier than the headlines suggest. You experience prices in real life, not in percentages. A $3 jump in rent feels enormous. A 40-cent rise in eggs feels trivial. But both hit the same budget, and most people don't adjust instantly. They delay repairs, postpone trips, cancel subscriptions, stretch groceries for one more week. These micro-adjustments pile up quietly, becoming a second kind of inflation, the feeling of living with less room to breathe. Inflation is math, but the pain of inflation is emotional. That gap is why the headlines cool down long before your life does. Chapter 2. The Inflation Engine. How prices actually form. Think of the economy as a relay. Goods move from the factory to the truck. From the truck to the ship. From the ship to the warehouse. From the warehouse to the store. And from the store to you. Every handoff adds cost. Every shock spreads outward. The IMF points to energy spikes and supply chain breakdowns as core drivers after 2020. According to the World Bank, container shipping costs tripled at the peak. Even when these shocks fade, many of the added costs stay in the structure. Why? Because contracts adjust upward faster than they adjust downward. Fuel clauses, materials surcharges, labor escalators, logistics indexation. When inputs rise, prices follow quickly. When inputs fall, the reset is slow or incomplete. Retailers protect anchor items, like milk and bread, then recover margin elsewhere. Real-time sales data lets firms adjust prices faster than ever, shorten promotions, and nudge spending through apps. Meanwhile, wages try to catch up. The OECD shows pay lagging behind inflation by several points at the peak. Households cut back. Businesses adapt again. Inflation becomes not one fire, but a network of sparks. Chapter 3. Price Stickiness. Why prices rarely fall. Prices rise like stairs and fall like ramps. Menu costs. Lowering prices requires retagging stores, updating systems, and reprinting materials. For big chains, that is a project. Wages. Once raised, wages almost never fall. Firms cut staff instead, keeping labor costs high. Rents. Leases escalate. Landlords avoid lowering rent because it reduces property value. Utilities. Bills rise fast with fuel spikes but fall slowly because of regulatory delays. Airlines. Fares jump when jet fuel rises. When fuel drops, airlines increase capacity slowly. Tickets stay expensive, and fees rise anyway. Shrinkflation. Packages shrink instead of prices falling. Coffee went from 1 pound to 12 ounces, and never returned. Prices don't rewind. They reset the whole system. Chapter 4. How companies use inflation. Inflation is economics and psychology. Shrinkflation. Same price, less product. Skimpflation. Same price, worse experience. Excuseflation. Raising prices when the public expects pain. Psychological pricing. Avoiding big jumps, raising small ones instead. Fees. The sticker price stays still while service fees grow. Loyalty apps shape your basket. You think you're winning. The system thinks the same. Private labels give retailers leverage. If a brand resists a price change, the store replaces it with its own version, lower price to the shopper, higher margin to the chain. None of this is conspiracy. It's strategy. Chapter 5. Winners and Losers. Winners, companies with pricing power. Energy producers during spikes. Asset owners with rents and fees indexed to inflation. Retailers with data who adjust faster than competitors. Losers, households with slow wage growth. Renters facing yearly resets. Small businesses with little bargaining power. Consumers at the bottom, where every increase bites. Inflation doesn't hit evenly. It hits where power is weakest. Chapter 6. What it means for ordinary people. You don't beat inflation by fighting the system. You beat it by understanding the terrain. 1. Unit pricing is truth. Packages lie, ounces do not. 2. Track your anchors. Rent, utilities, groceries, transport. If too many rise at once, cut complexity elsewhere. 3. Substitute intelligently. Frozen vegetables, home coffee, fewer gadgets. 4. Treat loyalty apps like contracts. Only use discounts for things you already plan to buy. 5. Avoid long commitments. Flexibility beats optimism in volatile times. 6. Keep your own inflation log. Milk, fuel, lunch, your numbers beat the headlines. Inflation isn't a storm to outrun. It's terrain to navigate. Inflation cooled on paper. It stayed in your kitchen. The shocks hit. The system locked them in. And the new price level became the new normal. Here's the barbarian truth. Prices don't rise because greed appears. They rise because the system rewards firms that can pass costs along, and punishes the ones that can't. Your job isn't to rage at the system. Your job is to understand it. Inflation isn't higher numbers. It's a new altitude. Learn the terrain. Choose your path. Stay curious, stay sharp.